Nope. Nope, he can't. Why did you click on this video when you clearly knew the answer to that question? Joking aside though, is it actually that bad? Hello, you are with me, Icy Snaps, and today we are reviewing MGK, Machine Gun Kelly's new album. Hello, you are with me, Icy Snaps, and today we are reviewing MGK, Machine Gun Kelly's new album, Lost Americana. You might be wondering why I'm reviewing this album. Well, I've already reviewed one of his albums, so I thought, you have to give him a fair chance. He's a musician, he's an artist, so let's see what he can do. Whenever I see something by MGK, I never go in expecting much, especially since my last review anyway. But this album sees MGK doing his pop rock boy band-esque debut. Having dipped his toes in rap before this and pop punk before that, yeah, he's a bit of a culture vulture. But here he is hanging on, still going. You've got to admire his tenacity. Even after being bullied out of every genre he's ever tried. He even takes self-deprecating jabs and he makes jokes about how he's kind of tried all these different genres. Everyone thinks he's a bit of a joke. And he's all like, ha ha, very funny guys. But there's still this weird underlying air that he just thinks he's kind of hot shit. Lost Americana, 13 tracks running at about 45 minutes long. Now, some might say that's too long. I'm not going to say it's good because it's not really good, but I don't hate it either. The most offensive thing about it is kind of just how boring and plain and unoffensive it really is. Songs blend into each other. The production's not even vanilla, it's vanilla flavored. That's kind of how synthetic everything here feels. The whole vibe, especially if you're looking at the album cover, is Americana. But you only really get a taste in some of the instrumentals. Trying to imitate that, famous American Bryan Adams, or perhaps maybe a little bit of Springsteen, I don't know. The thing about it is you could easily listen to this album, have a bit of fun listening to it, and then completely forget it the moment it stops. Be honest, are you really coming back to this? Just listen to the opening track, Outlaw Overture, starting off sounding quite interesting with that synth pop up, clearly trying to capture that cheesy 80s rock essence. Left feeling muted and kind of dull with that drum and MGK's voice, which is something I just can't really get behind in this track and quite a few other tracks on the album. It's these moments where he's just kind of talking at you that are just really come across as kind of irritating. What's really noticeable about his vocals as well is the use of auto-tune. Now, I kind of love auto-tune, especially as like an aesthetic, but if you're using it to try and fix someone's voice, you shouldn't be hearing it. Do you know what I mean? And I know it's common practice these days, but at some point you're just overdoing it and it sounds bad. As I'm listening to this track as well, I'm thinking, oh, it's kind of flowing into the next quite seamlessly. But no, it's the same song, but it's suddenly switching to something like an acoustic ballad, where we see MGK think about his life and insecurities, which are all valid and great things to sing about, but there's this air of insincerity about them. Like you're a victim of what? People saying your songs are bad? I find it more interesting when you talk about your addictions. But again, it's like, do you want people to think drugs are cool or bad? Like, for example, on the song Goddamn, where it feels a bit more genuine, where you're kind of singing about the money you've wasted on projects or the drugs that have wasted your years, and you've still kept that soul after all that grief. Or near the end of the song where you're kind of singing about all these toxic traits about yourself, wishing you could change. Instrumentally it's kind of boring, but the vocals really work here. And you know what, I kind of like that simple square wave synth that comes in, but in the same breath you kind of glamorize all this stuff as well, making me want to start taking drugs again. In the song Miss Sunshine, you're doing LSD and taking Coca-Cola, which is happily sung over these like summer strings. It's all cool, man. And I get it, there's always this contrast with drugs, like it's fun until it's not, but it feels like here you're using drugs to make you seem cool. Talking about lyrics, just the song Indigo, can we just talk about this for a second? My god. I'm J.R.R. Tolkien these spliffs, I love smoking. And then you have needles sewed, new clothes, but more than it seems. Like, I know this is clever wordplay, but it's so fucking corny. And the cheese doesn't stop there with Vampire Diaries, which has a bit of a pop punky vibe, which, I don't mind. I was born to fly, but I would die to run. I don't know exactly what that means, because surely flying is better than running, and What? The whole song is kind of confusing with lyrics that make no sense to me. I put a cross around my neck to find out if it hurts. I mean, if you're considering yourself a vampire, surely it would. I don't know. The only line that really sticks out to me in a good way, just walking in the daylight, is something I've never done, and I guess it's because he's always like being clowned on, so it's kind of like self-reflective. Anyway, we come to the song now. Sweet Caroline, I mean Coraline, of course. And this is one of the songs where you really fucking notice that auto-tune on his vocals. My god, it's just so apparent. But it's not used as an aesthetic, it's really just trying to make him sound better. What's funny though is I say all of that, but I could easily just listen to this. It's just like a nothing song, but it's kind of catchy, weirdly. It's frustrating, but I honestly can't help but kind of like it. And then we come to the lead single, Cliche. Is it good or is it bad? I genuinely don't know. I mean, I'm siding on bad, but I, again, kind of like it. But the title perfectly describes the whole song, really. Cliche. With the guitar plucking that starts you off, you can't help but kind of click along. I can't tell if the video is serious or not, but goddamn, I give him credit for just doing it. He knows everyone's just going to make fun of him, but god, he's just doing it. I wish I had that kind of confidence, honestly. From here though to the end, it's kind of the same over and over. Inoffensive plain pop with some slight rock thrown in, until the last song where we get something a little more slow and heartfelt. But really, it's exactly what you expect the last track to be on an album like this. That slow ballad where MGK reflects on his love for what's her face. Weirdly, I think this is a step in the right direction for MGK. It's probably one of his most listenable albums anyway. Look, I'm not rushing out to buy this record or even put it on again after doing this review, but if the song came on in the background, I wouldn't have an issue. A collection of polished, radio-friendly songs that never commit to being good or bad. It's an album built for background noise. There are these glimmers of honesty, and sometimes, yeah, his lyrics are okay, but they're buried under like layers of overproduction, weird genre hopping. For all its faults though, it wasn't a bad listen, and you know, I had fun listening to it at least. I mean, I've heard worse, but yeah, it kind of sucks. So saying all of that, I would give this album a 3.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you thought down below. Did you enjoy it? Perhaps you did. You know, don't be afraid to tell me. I won't judge. But yeah, hopefully catch you on the next one. Thank you very much.